Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel and I do videos on minimalism, decluttering and my no spend year. Today I need to share with you my October and November no spend review and see how I've got on. So I've got to share with you October and November's no spend review because I've been very busy at work and also I have had various different illnesses in the last couple of months, so I've just not been well enough to be able to film. I lost my voice at one point and was off work, so thankfully I am now in better health and I'm in a much better position to be able to talk and to share things with you so I can let you know how I've been getting on. As you know, I write everything down in my Go Girl budget planner. This one's been brilliant, absolutely love it, and I use this to record every receipt, so I track all my spend on everyday spend like food, shop and petrol, and I also track any other items that are like non-essentials as well. So let's start with October. So I try and budget around £100 at the minute for my no spend. This is just like random things that come up like clothing and things like that. And food I budget around 180 roughly, and for petrol it's 140. So let's see how I've got on. Okay, for October I have spent a fair amount of money. It totals £161. I had gone away in October for a trip to South Wales and I ended up paying for different foods and stuff, and I needed some clothing before I went because I didn't quite have some of the gear that I needed for walking. I had other drinks out and various different social things in October that just meant that it was just that bit busier. So I tried to keep to budget but it just really did not work. As far as food is concerned, this month October was quite good. It was 190. So I definitely managed to stick to just going to my main food shops and my second shop for gluten-free. And for petrol I was only £123 I think, just because I didn't do as much driving extra trips as much. It just meant it was slightly less, so I end up compensating by spending more usually if I know it's going to be if I'm going to do less travelling, so it kind of evens out, so it's not too bad. I did in October budget my Christmas spend for my son, so I have a set budget that I do, and then he told me exactly what he wanted, and then I made sure that I had the main key like expensive items already sorted so that I wasn't in a rush or a panic. So he wanted a new phone, so I got a second-hand one for him that was the phone that he was after. He's fine with that. We have discussions about money, so he understands the idea that we don't need to buy brand new or the latest model. It's just a newer model for him because he's only 12. I think it's silly to be spending lots of money on a phone, but it was his big budget kind of item, so I bought that, and I bought a couple of knickknacks that were in his budget so that I knew that I was ahead, because I knew it was going to be a busy few months. So November then. November was definitely a busy spend month. This month I ended up having to do some beauty things, so like I get my eyelashes tinted and curled, I got my flu vaccine which I had to pay for, I had to top up makeup, and there were some clothing things that I needed for Noah, so it ended up being that I spent £149. I don't mind too much because some of those things were just things that were needed, and I also upgraded my Hoover. So I found a second-hand Hoover on Marketplace for around 80, but it was brand new in the box. So I got it, and then I sold my other Hoovers because I had two. I had one handheld one that I used in the car. It was like a small handheld Dyson, and then the other one was a Henry Hoover which I've had for well over 10 years, and they were both in brilliant working condition. It was just frustrating having two separate Hoovers, and I saw this newer model that somebody was selling because obviously they just didn't get on with it, but when I looked at it, it was that they had clogged it up and not actually cleaned it out, so maybe they thought it wasn't working very well, but I literally cleaned it out and it's a very strong working Hoover, and it's a handheld one that was cordless, and that was what I was looking for, just because I find it such well, it is a chore, but I find it a hard chore having to lug around the Henry Hoover. So to have something that was easier to do, that wasn't heavy, means that it's easier for me to hoover now, not taking up too much of my energy, because I do struggle with fatigue. So it just means that my life is that little bit easier to maintain and to keep things how I want them to be. So I want it to be clean and tidy, and it's hard to do that when it's a mammoth job each time. So it just means that I'm more likely to keep on top of everything. Yeah, so I spent £80, but I managed to get £60 back by selling my hoovers. So it only cost me £20 to upgrade, which I think is pretty reasonable. Food wise this month, so food is a funny one. In October I managed to keep it to 190. This month I've just gone way over, and I've just found it much harder. I think because I was ill in November, it just meant that I was just trying to eat as much as I could, and as healthily as I could, and it just meant that I just wasn't focused about what I was spending and how, or meal planning, just because I was just going from day to day because I just didn't have the energy. I was ill for quite a little while. I even lost my voice and was off work. It just really affected me. So it just meant that it just threw out my whole meal planning, because I just didn't have the time or the energy to do it, as well as keeping up with everything that's going on at school as well. Petrol this month was 141, so it was a little bit more, but I did go and do some trips to friends before I got unwell. So in general it was okay. I think for December my budget is 100. I already know that I've kind of gone over that. It's frustrating, but I'm just kind of at the point where actually I've cleared pretty much most of my debt. I've managed to have a good amount of savings saved, so I'm just kind of enjoying this month and just seeing what happens. One thing I also wanted to share with you was that in November it was my birthday, and the same friend that bought me this year's Go Girl budget planner has actually bought me my next one, so I'm ready for next year. I will share a video perhaps of me setting up my pages in my book so you can see what it's like. But it's a really nice way of kind of keeping track of everything. My plan is to do it for another year hopefully, so that I can save as much money as possible for deposit, so hopefully that works. Yeah. What I wanted to do for Christmas was kind of do a 12 days of Christmas and share a new challenge for decluttering over the Christmas period. So I'm going to start looking at doing that and sharing that with you too. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I will just spread it out every couple of days. I will share a new challenge that you could take part in. If you've liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe down below. And I share more videos on minimalism and decluttering and moneysaving. So it would be lovely to share my journey with you. Take care. Bye.